What's going on, you guys? It is Straw Hat Brian here, and I'm back again. I hope you guys are ready to set sail on my One Piece Chapter 875 review. I suggest you guys go read that now. Before I get into it, pause the video because spoilers will be lurking throughout this entire video. So, first thing I'm getting into is the cover page. Cover page, I thought was pretty cool. We got to see Barto giving no fucks. Barto does not care. Barto was like, you know what? I don't care if this is Red Hair Shanks territory. I'm gonna burn his flag because who cares about the Yonko? It's Straw Hat Luffy all day. I love it. I love Barto, man. I love his abilities. I love him as a character. I love that he's basically us. He's every One Piece fanboy known to date, and he's in the anime. So, you know, I can't even be mad at that. I want to know how this is actually going to affect the main story, though. Because we all know, every One Piece YouTuber kind of knows that the cover stories is going to... they are a part of the story. But the cover stories are eventually all going to tie in, whether they do now, but eventually they're going to tie in the loose ends of the story. And then we're just going to understand everything. And because we all... basically get the gist that the cover stories are just to showcase what certain characters are doing during certain time periods. But if you delve a little bit deeper, you use a keen eye, you can tell that there's a little bit more to the cover story. So, you know, I thought that cover story was great. You know, I thought the last few cover stories were pretty great. So I'm really excited to see what Oda does in the next few chapters with the cover stories. Now, moving on to the actual chapter. Now, what I want to go is, first thing I want to talk about is you have Brook and Chopper. You know, they're setting sail back to the submarine to, eventually rendezvous with Luffy back on the Thousand Sunny. Now, when they're going underwater, you know, they see a Sea King, and then they see a merman. Well, Chopper sees a merman. Brook obviously is in his I don't care mode. He's just like, man, if it ain't panties, I don't care. So, you know, we all know Brook. Now, Chopper says he sees a merman. Who could that be? Because we didn't really get to see who, or unless maybe I just missed it. But I scanned that page, you know, top to bottom, trying to figure out who the merman was. And I'm thinking, was it Aladdin? Is the Fishman Pirates going to help Brook and Chopper? Instead of going back to Fishman Island, they decide to stay because they realize that they can't just leave Jinbei to die because that's their homie who's basically Jinbei has sacrificed. If anybody who's not familiar with Jinbei has basically sacrificed so much and has done so much for Fishman Island and for fishmen and mermen alike. Come on. Who doesn't deserve a following like that? Next thing I want to get into, why Jinbei cannot die in the Whole Cake Island. Or not even maybe Whole Cake Island. Why I might feel like Jinbei is going to be a prominent Straw Hat... Sorry about that. Is it going to be a prominent Straw Hat member? And the reason why I say that is because Jinbei showcased so much in this chapter. Jinbei basically, he's an excellent strategist. You know, basically telling everybody, like, you know, it's wasting time on trying to fight. You know, when they were getting surrounded by Big Mom soldiers, he was like, yo, let's not fight, keep running. And then even with, you know, Nami, he's, you know, still on the tactics, telling Nami, you know, make sure you keep feeding Zeus those thunderclouds. Whatever you do, don't stop. So, you know, Luffy might be the captain, but I think Luffy would need Jinbei to help him because he has experience. We all can't forget that. This is the most, and this is why I thoroughly believe that Jinbei has to join the Straw Hat Pirates. Jinbei has experience. One thing that I feel that each and every Straw Hat man, maybe except Frankie and Nico Robin, but obviously they're not as strong as Luffy or Zoro or Sanji. So my thing is that Jinbei has experience. Jinbei has sailed the seas. Jinbei, if any other character other than Brook, because Brook has lived such a long time, Jinbei knows things. Jinbei's smart. Jinbei's cunning. Jinbei knows the ins and outs. I mean, you could say the same maybe about Zoro and Sanji, because they are informative characters. They're very well informed. It seems like every character except Luffy is very well informed. But when it comes to just experience, combat experience, battling experience, Jinbei would excel the Straw Hat, the core crew, to significant levels that I feel like they have yet to reach, because they don't have that character. They don't have, and I mean, of course, everybody's like, what would be his goal? What would be his dream? He has the biggest dream. He has the biggest dream. He wants his people to, and I feel this, Jinbei wants his people to live underneath the sun. Jinbei is going to be the character who will carry on Otohime's will. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. It would have to be Jinbei. He's like the harbinger. Let's put it like that. He's the harbinger. He's going to be the man who ushers in the era of fishermen living on the sea. I mean, of course, Luffy's going to help. He's going to need Luffy's help. But Jinbei is going to be mentioned in that same conversation. That's all I'm getting at. So that's my reason why I think Jinbei can't die. Every crew thus far seems like they have even Yonko's seems like they have someone who's very experienced. Katakuri, for me, is Big Mom Pirates. That is the most experienced member of the Big Mom Pirates. For Red Hair Shanks, Ben Beckman. In my opinion, Ben Beckman, the man who stopped Kizaru in his tracks, I believe he also has to be one of the most experienced characters on a Yonko crew, being a Yonko commander. For Kaido, we've yet to really see that character, so I can't name that character. For Blackbeard, it might be Shiryu. It might be Shiryu. Or it might be Lafayette, or Lafayette, or I don't really know how to pronounce his name, however you guys pronounce it. But I feel like maybe between those two, one of them has to be the more prominent member, because I'm not really thinking Burgess. I'm not. That's just me. I'm not thinking Burgess is really number 2. That's me. But I don't want to get too much time on Jinbei. I'm about to jump into the next thing. Is the flaws with Big Mom's powers and abilities, which I don't really think, I don't think it's too much as a flaw. I remember I mentioned in my last video that Oda is scaling back a lot of Big Mom. Like, Oda built Big Mom to be broken with her intel network, with her abilities, just her core abilities, like her devil fruit. Like, she was broken. So Oda scaled it back a lot, and Oda did it in a comedic fashion. He did it in a way that we all know that Oda does it. So let's just jump right into the scenes and the scenarios. So you had Nami, as they were running away. She's feeding Zeus. Zeus is just like, bro, I want to have my cake and eat it too. So he eats the weather eggs, like the weather eggs that was on Nami's climate tech, and he just basically like ate that John and was just like, I'm gonna just fly away, do what I do. Well, he didn't fly away, but he was just like, I'm gonna just enjoy these black thunderclouds, and I'm gonna just eat the whole thing. So he expands, and he got super huge. Like, he got super huge and black, just like Nami predicted in the last chapter that he would turn into a really huge cloud. But I'm pretty sure nobody expected next chapter he was going to turn into a really huge cloud. So I thought that was really cool. And Nami versus Big Mom. Before I even get into that, let me just finish off topic between Big Moms and everybody else. So, obviously we saw Jinbei also take down Prometheus. So that, despite, and that's another thing, like, Jinbei is going to save the Straw, like every Devil Fruit member, because Straw Hats has like 4 or 5 Devil Fruit crew members. You know what I mean? You only have like 2 of them, 3 of them without Devil Fruit powers. So it's like basically every member has Devil Fruit powers. Honestly, I think it's like 6 of them has Devil Fruit powers, because I think only Nami, Frankie, Sanji, they're the only ones without Devil Fruit powers. Yeah, that's it. 3 members. So the rest of the Straw Hats got Devil Fruit powers. So when you look at Jinbei's abilities, he can save the Straw Hats. He can save the Straw Hats at any given time. And then he can also damage any Devil Fruit user because his water-based techniques. So obviously he took down Prometheus with the ease. Just to see like there are other ways to take down Big Mom's, to not even take that, to nullify Big Mom's abilities. I thought that was really cool. I thought that Oda did a really good job showcasing that. Another thing that on to the next thing is, when Zeus got really big, it was up to Nami to think of, this is what I'm gonna do next. Nami used her wits, quick thinking, and she used the climate temple to control Zeus into striking down on Big Mom. So yes, I'm not saying Nami one-shot at Big Mom, but Oda pulled the Naruto logic. And if anyone who has ever seen Naruto, I'd hate to bring Naruto into a One Piece video, but if anyone's ever seen Naruto and who is familiar with the third Raikage, who had the ultimate defense, let me say this again, character had the ultimate defense, and Naruto realized that the only way for Naruto to damage this person was for him to get him to attack himself. So basically Nami used Big Mom's strengths against her. We saw Big Mom get fried with the combination of her own abilities. That was amazing. So with that said, I do feel like an escape from Whole Cake Island is definitely now closer than before. It is more like it can happen. It is more of a thing that could happen. Now, what's going to happen in the next few chapters, maybe Big Mom will come back and be even more ferocious, but who knows? But I think Big Mom might not be seen for the next maybe 2 or 3 chapters, judging by the way that ended and how Katakuri was pretty silent when Mondiura was like, well, that was Zeus letting off his final attack, so, Straw Hat should be dead now. And next thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was, just real shortly, was how Luffy kind of realized that Boshiko no Haki does not work against didn't work against Prometheus. I mean, obviously because he's a soul and because he's our son, so there's really nothing for you to hit. But what if it's like a treble thing? Like, because of Big Mom's abilities, because it's a Paramecia type, what if Paramecias kind of have like a slight edge depending on their abilities against Boshiko no Haki? That is just a small mini theory that I just wanted to get out there and talk about. But Brook and Chopper versus Katakuri. Brook and Chopper and Nami have shown significant growth throughout this arc. Brook fought Big Mom 1v1. Brook and Chopper are now about to take on Katakuri. Nami is quit thinking. She's like, yo, I don't care if this, she's not even thinking of Big Mom being a Yonko. She's like, yo, this girl's on me and we gotta do something. And she's the character. She's using her abilities. She's strategic fighting. And that's what the Straw Hats need. Sometimes you can't just get the fights done with brute strength alone. You gotta have that strategic mindset. Now, last thing we're getting into is Pudding and her split personality. I'm kind of surprised Chiffon didn't really see that coming, because I'm like other members are pretty familiar. I mean, maybe that was just a translation because the way it ended, and then Chiffon, she's giving her backstory or whatever about wanting to help the Straw Hats and her reasoning, and then just for everything to transpire with, well, just for everything to end with Pudding basically like, oh, there's Sanji, you get the hearts and everything, she's all lovey-dovey, and then right after it's like, yo, I'm about to kill this bastard. So it's like, and then Chiffon's just like, what? So I mean, the way that ended, that was kind of like, again, maybe that was just a translation, but that was kind of weak in my opinion. So I'm wondering how this is going to really happen. I'm not for Pudding joining the Straw Hats. I don't really want to see the comedic relief of Pudding split personality disorder happening all the time. Like, I mean, we get enough of the spats between, Zoro and Sanji and some of the other crew members. Like, I love that. I don't want to keep adding. Let's not keep adding. So, eventually, like, when the Straw Hats do reach a significant number where, like, that's where the crew is going to stand, and then you're just going to have the Grand Fleet being the extra members, you know what I mean? Obviously, because we've already had those prominent members named. No more. No Pudding. I'm not going for Pudding and Sanji. I'm going for Nami and Sanji. I'm going for Luffy and Robin. Or Luffy and Boa Hancock. Honestly, I'm more likely to go for Luffy and Boa Hancock. Boa Hancock seems like she's the only one closest enough to actually, or even show significant interest in Luffy. So, I mean, yeah. And, you know, there's Rebecca too. But Rebecca sucked as a character. So, hey, that was my review of chapter 875. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Check back with me later. I'm gonna leave some comments in the description. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And again, I'm gonna be in the comment section. So, you know, if you guys leave comments, you know, I'll try to be as active as possible with you guys. I want to talk to you guys. I want to get to know you guys, and hopefully you help me out with my content. Tell me what videos you want to see. Tell me what videos you want to watch. Tell me how to make my channel better. Straw Hat Brining, signing out. You all have a good night.